Shalom, my name is Adam Wasser. Today, my father Yaakov Ezra Wasser is getting married to Karen Goodman. On this beautiful day, I'd like to wish the happy couple a wonderful and glorious Moziltov. L'chaim, l'chaim. In Chassidus, in Kabbalah teachings, we learn that when the Messiah comes, when Mashiach comes, there will be people that will get a divorce. Now we ask the question, why would people get a divorce when the Mashiach comes? We learn in Judaism that God makes matches, that He puts people together, and who we marry is who we're meant to marry. So why would people get a divorce when Mashiach comes? Excuse me. We learn in Hasidic teachings and in Kabbalah teachings that in the world, everyone has a soul, but souls are divided into other souls, meaning when we take the Jewish people, today there are about 13 to 14 million Jewish people around the world, but there are only 600,000 Jewish souls. This number, 600,000, represents the men over 13 years old that stood at Har Sinai with Moses, and that these are the Jewish souls. But when the Jewish people expand over 600,000, these 600,000 souls separate, they subdivide into sub-souls, sub-neshamas. So in reality, for at least the Jewish people, I myself, are a part of maybe 1,000 other people who share the same kind of soul as me. My soul is my individual soul, it's mine, but it is a part of at least another 1,000 people that has been divided. So these divisions of the soul are what we call the b'sherets, the ones that are a part of us, that when we are together we are whole. So we learn that God puts marriages together. He puts a person and they're married, but then they get a divorce, or they, like my father, my mother passed away 30 years ago, so they're separated. So how could they get remarried? Well, because the souls are subdivided into separate groups that are a part of a whole, these combinations complete people. Now we go a little deeper and we say, in our lives we go at different levels. We start off at this point, and then 10 years later we are at another point, and 10 years later we are at another point. And hopefully we are always expanding upwards. Sometimes it's opposite, God forbid, but hopefully we always go up. So we're always changing every 10 years or so. So who we are with is supposed to grow with us, and we are supposed to grow with them. Marriage is a union of cooperation and understanding, but the two should go together. They should work together, be on the same wavelength at least. But when there's that unbalance, and when one is going that way, the other is going this way, or one's going up, one's going down, whatever the case may be, divorce can happen. Now, the idea of marriage is to better the individual. Have children, yes, but to ultimately bring oneself up to a higher level, or at least to a pattern of where it will help them get to a higher level. So sometimes, many times unfortunately in America at least, people need a different level of where they need to get to. So one day, one year they're with one person because that was at the level that they were at that time. And now they're with somebody else because this is the level they were at this time. Now it could be going up, it could be going down. But who you marry is where you are at life. I like to say, politicians are the face of the people. If the politician has problems, the society usually has problems. So who you're married to is a reflection of who you are. So if you're changing, and your other half is going somewhere else or not, then your reflection is somewhere else, and it needs a new face. So this is kind of the idea of why is it that when Mashiach comes, people will get a divorce. Because when Mashiach comes, when the Messiah comes, people will go to a higher level in life. They will grow upwards, not downwards, not stable, they will go up. So ultimately, you should be with the person that best fits your highest level of who you can become. Because everybody has the one that they can be with that's at a low point, and everybody can be with the person where they are at a very high point. And I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about spirituality, goodness, and kindness. Money has nothing to do with this. But they're, not to get into that subject. Anyways, when Mashiach comes, you will be with the person that ultimately brings you to the highest level, and they will be with you to bring themselves to the highest level. So when Mashiach comes, you're with the right person at the moment. Everybody who's married is with the right person, but it's for that moment. It's for now. What is tomorrow? What is in the future? Can be very something different of going to a higher level, and you need that. Now you can do it with your bashar, you can do it with your partner, but if that's not feasible, then that's why we'll have divorce when Mashiach comes, so that you can grow. Marriage is beautiful, it's sacred, but without the understanding of cooperation, understanding, and a willing to adjust, willing not to say, okay, honey, I'll do it, okay, 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 that you can talk to each other, that you can understand one another. Talking is one of the most important things in a marriage. When there's an end of talking, this is when the marriage is starting to go sour. You must always be talking and cooperating with one another. Yes, you can have disagreements. Yes, you can have fights. But there should be an understanding of why. And sometimes you just gotta let things go. Don't push it, because sometimes you're just not gonna win. But that's a part of being married, is that being a teacher for special ed, one of the important things you have to know is that even if your student knows the answer, and you know that he or she knows the answer, for the time being, they might not be ready to answer that answer. It might be because they are not in the mood, they're tired, they're not feeling well, or they're just being stubborn, or maybe they just gone blank for the day. But there's that patience, there's that understanding of the student and the teacher to know where your student is holding and what they can achieve, but at what time can you show their achievement. And once you show their achievement, how can you keep that going and show them that they can do it, so therefore let's go forward, let's make it happen. And that's kind of like a marriage. Get to a point, and it might not be that day, but there should be a goal, and that goal can lead to a higher point. And when that higher point comes, you show each other that you both can do it, and then you move on to the next level. And when that point comes, it might not be right away, and you have to have patience. Anyways, I wish everyone a wonderful day. And if you're divorced or you're a widow, you shouldn't think that there's nobody else out there, because there are many, many people out there for you. You don't have one basheret. You don't have one person who's meant for you. There are many people who are meant for you. It just matters on what point in life you're at this time. If you're going to a bar and you're looking to party and all that, then that's what you're going to find. If you're going to the synagogue or the church, the mosque, then that's the kind of person you will find. Where you place yourself in your environment and the people that you socialize with is what you're going to end up with. If you divorce somebody and you say, oh, he was no good, he was lazy, he was an ass, whatever the answer may be, he cheated on me, whatever, then you have to ask yourself, well, if I go back into the environment that I found him in, then I'm just going to find another him, just with a different face. And that's something you gotta realize. You put yourself back in that environment, and you're just gonna get another ass, whatever. And the same thing goes for guys. And I think this is common sense. I think we all know it. We just sometimes can't control our changing our environment so easily. Many times it takes a drastic step, drastic tragedy, whatever in our lives to push us in a different direction, unfortunately. But we all can do it. And there is someone out there for everyone. Never give up. My father has been a widow for 30 years. My mother, she brought into this world 2 children, me and my sister, Monica. And, she died at 27, unfortunately. But now my father is getting remarried to Karen Goodman, who's a wonderful, good woman. Takes care of my father. When my father was in the hospital 2 weeks ago, he had a minor stroke, 14 kidney stones, and a concussion from falling. She was by his side constantly, all the time. And that's very, it's beautiful. That's fantastic. And that's a part of being married. Loving one another and helping one another. And if the love falls away, if the love disappears, look at what made you guys fall in love. Look at what brought you together and try to reconnect. Not with the past, but with the ideas of how that love came about. And if it doesn't come back, and if it really comes down to it, then divorce is sometimes the solution. People ask, is it better for for the children, for the parents to be married, or is it better for the children to that the parents get divorced, separated? I don't know. I can tell you that children that come from divorced homes can have issues, but it's not a black and white issue. Because children that come from parents, mother and father homes, also can have issues. So it's not so easy to define what is better for the child, because a very unhappy marriage can lead to very unhappy children. So I leave that up to you. God bless you all, and Moziltov once again. This is a nice sparkling Barnota.